Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. Again, I am Faizullah Umar with you, and today we are going to study about covalent bond. Yes, it is not James Bond 007 from movies, it's chemistry. So we are studying covalent bond. Remember this. Okay, let's start with the definition of covalent bond. What's covalent bond? Covalent bond is a chemical bond. We have studied what's chemical bond. It is formed as a result of the sharing of electrons between two neighboring atoms. That's known as covalent bond, and covalent bonds are mostly formed between non-metals. You can see over here an example. I have shown you example is methane. Okay, 4 hydrogen and 1 carbon. For example, the red electrons belong to carbon and the blue ones belong to blue belongs to carbon and red belong to hydrogen. You can see that all of them have shared electron and they have completed their octet. For example, carbon had 4 electron and it is sharing 4 electron of hydrogen as well. Now it has completed its octet. There is 8 electron around the carbon. Now it is stable. And for hydrogen, I have told you that hydrogen can complete its valence shell with 2 electrons. So each hydrogen is sharing 1 electron from carbon. It has also completed its valence shell. Now there is 2 electrons for each hydrogen. Now they are in stable state. That's why they form covalent bond. And you can see that hydrogen is also a non-metal, carbon is also a non-metal. And the next thing that I'm going to tell you that mostly carbonic compounds form covalent bonding, but there are some ionic bondings as well, like carbonates, etc. But normally in organic compounds, carbon form covalent bonding. Okay, let's study how a covalent bond is formed. You can see 2 hydrogen atoms over here. The red dots are electrons and the yellow ones are the nucleus of each hydrogen. You can see that in this part, this electron is attracted by its own nucleus with a strong attraction force. And in this one, this electron is attracted by his nucleus with strong attraction force. But when these two atoms come close to each other, this electron of the hydrogen A will be attracted by the nucleus of the other one as well. But it's a weak attraction, but it's also an attraction, So this electron of this hydrogen will also be attracted by the nucleus of the other one. So these two weak attraction cause these two atoms to get close to each other and they form bond. That bond is known as covalent bond. The covalent bond is mostly formed between the elements which don't have very much difference of electronegativity. Okay, and there are 3 types of covalent bond: polar bond, non-polar bond, and coordinate covalent bond. But we will study coordinate covalent bond in a separate video. For this one, we are going to study polar and non-polar covalent bond. Okay, let's start. What's the polar covalent bond? Why we call it polar? In polar covalent bond, one atom has greater electronegativity or the greater force of attraction for electron than the another one. So that's why the electrons that are shared are not shared equally. That's why we call it polar covalent bond. You can see in this one, these are 2 hydrogens, yellow one, and this is oxygen. Oxygen has higher electronegativity than hydrogen. Oxygen has around 3.5 or something like this. If I don't make a mistake, you can check. Okay, and hydrogen has 2.1. So electronegativity difference is a little bit higher. They are not close to each other. So this oxygen has more attraction for the electron and hydrogen has less attraction. That's why these 2 electrons are attracted to the oxygen. But still oxygen is not much powerful or not much strong to get this electron totally out of the hydrogen. Hydrogen is still pulling the electron. Hydrogen says that I will not give you the electron, but oxygen says that I will take the electron. So electron is staying between them as a polar covalent bond, but it is still near to the oxygen because oxygen is more powerful. This is the polar covalent bond, and this molecule is the molecule of water. You can see 1 hydrogen, and 1 oxygen, H2O. We know that water is a polar compound, and the bond between hydrogen and oxygen is also polar covalent bond. So this was an example of polar covalent bond. Remember that electron density in the polar covalent bond is not distributed equally. You can see this line shows the electron density. You can see that electron density is much more higher or bigger near the oxygen and smaller near the hydrogen, and here as well. Okay, so this was the polar covalent bond. Let's see what's in non-polar covalent bonding. In non-polar covalent bonding, the two atoms which are sharing electron have same electronegativity values. If it is not same, they must be very close. Okay, so it is known as polar covalent bond. For example, we can see over here is a polar covalent bond between hydrogen and hydrogen atom, one hydrogen and one hydrogen. You can see that the electron density between them is equal. Both hydrogen are sharing electron with an equal force. The electronegativity of both hydrogen are same, 2.1 and 2.1, which means that this bond is non-polar covalent bonding. Okay, so electron density or the electron cloud between them is shared equally. And something that how can we define which covalent bond is polar and which covalent bond is non-polar? Now we are going to study this one also. Let me show you an example. You can see in this one over here, these two are nucleuses and the sharing of electrons are equal between them. You can see electron density is equal, so it's a non-polar covalent bond. But in this one, one atom is much more powerful than the other one, so the electron density in this one is much more bigger and the other one is smaller. So the electropositive atom will get a partially positive charge and the electronegative atom will get partially negative charge. These are known as partial charges. It is not a complete negative or positive charge. You can see over here, it cannot take electron or it cannot lose electron. They are sharing, but this atom is much more powerful. That's why it is pulling electron upon itself. Okay, but still they are sharing, but the sharing is unequal. One of them is more powerful, other one is less powerful or weak. If you remember from ionic bonding, in ionic bonding I have told you that one atom loses electron to the other one. In this one you can see this atom has lost electron to this one, so it has got a positive charge and this one negative charge. There is no sharing of electron in the bond. Okay, this bond was ionic bond that we have studied before. Okay, and let me tell you what's the role of difference of electronegativity in bond type and polar and non-polar covalent bonding. Let's see. Now you can see over here in the difference of electronegativity, DEN, difference of electronegativity range and bond type. Over here, the difference of electronegativity is between 0.0 until 0.39, or we can say 0.4. The bond will be non-polar covalent bond. And if the difference is 0.4 until 0.9 or 0.89, it will be moderately polar covalent bonding. Okay, not between the non-polar and polar. And the difference is if between 0.9 until 1.69 or 1.7, it will be very polar covalent bond. Or we can say that if the difference is 0 until 0.4, we call it non-polar covalent bond, and if the difference is 0.4 to 1.69, this range will be the polar covalent bond. The lesser amount will be moderately polar and the higher amount will be very polar. And if the difference of electronegativity between two atoms gets higher than 1.69, 1.7 or greater than 1.7, in this case the bond that will be formed is known as ionic bond. Okay, so let's have an activity and solve some question about the difference of electronegativity and bond type, and let me check if you can guess, if you can give an answer or not. Okay, let's start. Please concentrate, focus on the video. Okay, for the first one, let's find the type of bond. This is sulfur, this is hydrogen. There's a bond between them. Let's find if this bond is polar, non-polar. Okay, let's see. Let's see the electronegativity of sulfur and hydrogen. The electronegativity of hydrogen is 2.1. For sulfur, 2.5. The difference between them is 0.4 exactly. Do you remember what was the what kind of bond it will be if the difference of electronegativity is 0.4? It is not and, it is electronegativity difference. I have written it in a short form. Electronegativity difference is 0.4. So what kind of bond will it be? Can you guess? Yes, exactly. That's a non-polar covalent bond. Okay, let's see the next one. Actually, in the chart, I have told you that it's between 0.39 to 0.0 until 0.39. We can also call 0.4 as a non-polar covalent bond. Okay. Okay, let's see the next one. What's the question? Oh, it's between hydrogen and chlorine. What's the type of this bond between hydrogen and chlorine? Can you guess? Let's solve it. Okay. The electronegativity of hydrogen is 2.1 and the electronegativity of chlorine is what? 3.0. What's the difference? What's the difference between 2.1 and 3.0? It is 0.9. Exactly. The electronegativity difference is 0.9. What do you think? What kind of bond is this? Can you answer me? If you know, write in the comment section below. Okay, let me answer you. The answer is that it's a polar covalent bond. Yes, exactly. The bond between hydrogen and chlorine is a polar covalent bond. Okay, let's see the last example or last question. What kind of bond between sodium and chlorine atom is this? The bond between sodium and chlorine is what kind of bond? Can you guess? Let's check. The electronegativity of sodium is 0.9 and the electronegativity of chlorine is 3.0. So what will be the difference of electronegativity between them? The difference is 2.1. Electronegativity difference, or the E and D, as I've written in short form, is 2.1. So if the electronegativity difference is 2.1, what kind of bond will it be? It is ionic bond. Exactly. Okay, students, hope you have learned something new and you have you like today's lesson. And still, if you have any question, any suggestion, you can write in the comment section below. And please don't forget to subscribe our channel and like our videos. Have a good day. See you next time. Goodbye.